This is Fight Boat, a floating vessel of vice and of violence, where only the most depraved warriors face off in combat. To win, it takes strength, sacrifice, and a complete disregard for personal safety. This is Fight Boat, the home of the global MEGAFist 12. A grueling tournament like no other. Fighters compete to earn points, where it's not just win, but how fast you win. Twelve will enter. One will prevail. No one will get paid. It's the global MEGAFist 12. Good evening and welcome to Fight Boat. We are live from Fight Boat, somewhere in international waters. That is always important in case anyone comes and asks, is this legal? Answer is we're in international waters. Stop asking me those questions. It is the Global MEGAFist 12. My name is Derek Osceola. I am joined by Lucille Crammelcorn. We are aboard Fight Boat, and we are ready for the second episode of the 2021 Global MEGAFist 12. A very different on so many levels. A very different Global MEGAFist 12. A very different atmosphere, a very different mood, a very different outlook on life, because Fight Boat's pretty great.
It certainly is, Derek. I mean, wow, the amenities, the customer service, I guess you could call it, just everything about Fight Boat is tremendous. I constantly am having to pinch myself to make sure I am not, in a dream reality. I have not been, perhaps, inserted into some sort of computer program. But yeah, Fight Boat is real. It is glorious.
It is so incredible. We are enjoying our time aboard. We have been here since, last December. Again, those unfamiliar, that was where we ended up after the Atsapadalin we ran aground but onto another boat. I don't understand. The less I think about it, the better. And all I do know is that we are aboard Fight Boat. We have had the gym of the Atsapadalin, where our fights of the Global MEGAFist 12 have taken place, recreated and reconstructed. The rest of the Atsapadalin was discarded, tossed aside. We kept what we could save and use, and we discarded the rest. But we have kept and preserved and trained and pitted 12 fantastic middleweight competitors to start off their 2021 Global MEGAFist 12. They are in two groups of 6. We are looking right now at the middleweight lineup, Group A. And let's talk about these competitors. Ed Picayune, the defending champion, the debutant who ended up winning the whole thing. He is in Group A alongside semifinalist Chet Lama, also Ken Dahl, Gordon Wu, newcomer Robbie Cheadle, who made his way through the Hyperfist, and survival fight winner Para Norman stays up in the Global MEGAFist 12. He fended off a Hyperfist challenger by winning a fight in the finale, so he remains up top. Lucille, your first thoughts in this group?
Of course, Ed Picayune's got the big target on his back. He is the defending champion. He was the newcomer last year and put everyone on notice with his grappling skills. Chet Lama and Gordon Wu, they were, very, both men very close to playoff contention.
Yeah.
Lama edging him out. I don't know if they were in the same bracket last year, but
Lama was a semifinalist. Gordon Wu actually was just picked out by Ed Picayune.
That's right. Honestly, so much of the Axapadlin days I've been trying to block from my memory. Just
completely repressed.
I pick up on key things, but
yes.
Yeah, Chet Lama and Gordon Wu, both strong competitors. We'll definitely look to see how Robbie Cheadle does. He's the newcomer, as it were. Paranorman, I mean, he struggled a bit last year, as you said, was in a survival fight. But the kind of confidence boost a person can get from remaining in contention in the Global MEGAFist 12 for another season,
yes.
That's got to be impressive. We'll see if being out of the, I guess, confined space of the Axapadlin and onto Fight Boat does anything to bolster, pardon the turn of phrase, but bolsters Paranorman's spirits, as it were. And then Ken Dahl, he's a bit of a dark horse. I believe he struggled a bit last year as well, but new locations can definitely improve the attitude of fighters. So I think everyone obviously is going to be hyper focused on Ed Picayune this season, but there's so many guys I can easily see making it to the playoffs.
Yeah, Gordon Wu was an early favorite to make it through to the semifinals last year. He stumbled rather late in the stages. One of those stumbles was a loss to Ed Picayune, but again, easy. I have to agree with you. I think early favorite is Ed Picayune because you can't bet against the champion from the start. However, second place in that group is very much a toss-up. It'll be interesting to see how things shake out. And those fights in Group A tonight, we're starting things off with Ed Picayune taking on the impossible Robbie Cheadle. So the newcomer has a tough task taking on the defending champion. Gordon Wu faces Paranorman in another fight. And our third fight in Group A, Ken Dahl versus Chet Lama. Big surprise, and we'll talk about them as they happen. Couple first-time fights for some seasoned veterans in the Global MEGAFist 12. But we'll see how they play out. Those will be some of our fights tonight. Of course, wouldn't have a Group A without a Group B. And here they are. Leon Pagliacci, last year's finalist, runner-up in the Global MEGAFist 12, went undefeated up until that final where he fell to Ed Picayune. Ezekiel Subset Alpha, for as much as Picayune had won the whole thing, I think Ezekiel was the middleweight standout among all of the middleweight newcomer standout, definitely. Donnie Bay, our lifeguard. Dale Branston, the 2019 champion, who's looking to kind of rebound after a rough 2020. The Tumor of Justice, another winner of a survival fight, and newcomer Vincenzo Vinny the Goose Thompson. Stacked Group B, I would have to say in this case. We lost Lucille. Lucille, you... Well, we seem to have lost Lucille for just a moment. We'll be, we're going to get things figured out, and we're really uncertain what's been going on. Been having a bit of technical issues. We're going to pause for just a moment, but while we try to get Lucille back, we'll tell you about the fights tonight. First, Donnie Bay will take on the Tumor of Justice, followed up by Leon Pagliacci taking on newcomer Vincenzo Vinny the Goose Thompson. And our main event, Ezekiel Subset Alpha taking on Dale Branston. Well, we're going to go ahead and head to our explainer video to talk to you about how, if you are new to the Global MEGAFist 12, how this all shakes out. We will go ahead and be back in just a moment to get this figured out. And we will be back. And here in the meantime, here is an explainer to tell you about how Global MEGAFist 12 works.
The Global MEGAFist 12 is a grueling competition like nothing ever seen before in mixed martial arts. First, the 12 fighters are drawn at random into 2 groups of 6 fighters each. Each fighter will face off against the other 5 in their group. A win is worth 3 points, while a draw is worth 1. In addition, bonus points are awarded for how fast a fight is won. Winning in the 3rd round is worth 4 total points, a 2nd round win is worth 5, and finishing a fight in the 1st round gets you 6 points in all. After all 5 rounds of competition, the 2 fighters who finish in last place are relegated from Global MEGAFist 12 and must earn their way back in next season. They will be replaced by 2 fighters from the HyperFist qualifying tournament. The 2 5th-place fighters will be matched up against 2 more fighters from the HyperFist qualifiers, with the winners earning their spot in next season's Global MEGAFist 12. The top 2 fighters from each group advance to the semifinals, where the 1st-place fighter from each group will take on the 2nd-place fighter from the other. The winners of these fights will do battle for the championship. It all comes down to one thing: win, and win fast, and the title of Global MEGAFist 12 champion awaits.
we go, the tail of the tape for this, our first fight. We thank you for sticking with us through those audio difficulties. Again, we have no idea how all this tech works when we are here on Fight Folk, but what we do know is that we have, we missed it during the rules, but we have a tail of the tape that is a significant advantage going to what looks like Robbie Cheadle, a height and a reach advantage, Lucille. But what I did mention is during our rules, we forgot to bring that up. By the way, is that there is going to be an all-you-can-eat nacho bar from sunrise to sunset tomorrow. And there will be a margarita waterfall is what I understand. A frozen margarita waterfall, which again, don't know how that works. And oh my goodness, right off the bat, Ed Picayune heading for a triangle. Robbie Cheadle just kind of left the arm in there. This is the MO of Picayune.
Oh, absolutely. I was going to say, that height advantage doesn't matter much when
when you're tapping out.
Submission that quick, yes, my goodness.
When you're tapping out just like that, well, welcome to the Global MEGAFist 12, Robbie Cheadle. Ed Picayune, my goodness. He was not a high point scorer to my knowledge last year, but that is 6 immense points to get his campaign started.
Oh, absolutely. I think, he did, obviously he did more than enough to secure the title last year, but I think this is a statement to the other middleweights in his group that, Ed Picayune is looking to run the table, get 6 points in every fight, and just be unreachable as the number 1 seed in Group A.
No doubt
38
about
seconds
that.
in.
Yeah, I'm looking at his results. His only losses last year were via decision, so he's tough to beat at that. And he does have one first-round submission, and it was of Gordon Wu. He is now added to that with the impossible Robbie Cheadle, our only plant-based fighter. We can unpack that on another time. But coming up next is our second fight, Gordon Wu versus Paranorman. Here we go, the tail of the tape for our next fight. Gordon Wu, assailant number 3. I don't want to say he's just a henchman stand-in, but he's kind of that sub-boss. He's the tougher guy you fight before you fight the actual boss in action movies, of course. But again, he's got stunt fighting as a background, and he's shown he's capable of doing it versus Paranorman. Again, another person from the world of entertainment. Host of the show Ghost Insertion, where he welcomes spirits into his body and to just for fun, for funsies.
Yeah, I remember, a couple of years ago catching a little bit of ghost insertion. He mentioned how he felt that, allowing the spirit residents inside his corporeal form would let him communicate better and perhaps let the spirit come to ease and come to rest naturally. But I know as the seasons progress, he was just jam-packed full of ghosts. I mean, dozens upon dozens.
Yeah, he never really let them out, did he? That was part of the problem. I think usually it's like you let them in, you do your business, and then you get them to leave freely. But I guess that's part of it, that he just wasn't really.
Maybe he was a comfortable residence for spirits that previously didn't have anywhere else to go. Maybe it was
a wayward home,
kind of
a home for wayward ghosts, perhaps.
Absolutely. I mean,
it's fascinating in a way. In a strange way, but Gordon Wu is using that spinning back fist from Wu, and Paranorman really struggled last year in the Global MEGAFist 12. He ended up finishing 2 and 3. Kick up the middle by Wu. He's got some real good range and some real good firepower. He just drops Paranorman and lets him back up.
Absolutely, Wu's stand-up is pretty impressive. Even all considered that he has still not allowed the harnessed wire crew inside the cage that he's requested numerous times. He's making do without him.
Yeah, that would probably be an unfair advantage. That being said, he's got full mount though, and I don't think he necessarily needs that at this point, because goodness me, he's a tough fighter. He's basically just done everything, but he's just scraped so closely to that semi-final spot. Maybe this is the year for him.
I think he's definitely got a chance. I mean, there's. I say that, but Chet Lama and Ed Picayune are in the same group, and if Chet Lama does what he does and start slow and finish strong, that's going to be something to be on the lookout for.
No doubt about that, and again, we've seen if there's any sort of downfall to Gordon Wu, he can get caught in a submission. He did get submitted in a very fast fashion by Ed Picayune. That result actually ended up being his downfall. That was the tiebreaker. Well, I beg pardon. It was actually on points. Last year it was not a tiebreaker, but they both finished 3 and 2. Picayune had 16 points. Wu had 12 after 3 victories. So I think Wu's urgency is a bit more on high this time, and he's definitely shown it. He's very easily won this round over Paranorman.
Absolutely, but you mentioned it was not a tiebreaker. It was a points decider. But those 6 first round points for submission, that Picayune got last year definitely helped push him over the edge. And not saying Wu is a lock to win this fight. I mean, he dropped Paranorman a couple of times, but he is already down to just 5 if he can manage a finish here. So again, it's not always. It's not always the wins and losses. It's how the wins and losses are, I guess, when the wins and losses come.
Yeah, it's that reward system of finishing even faster. It encourages the action. It encourages sometimes some really stupid and reckless behavior, which I'm always for here, especially when it's an amateur MMA.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Amateurs should be reckless and take big risks, sometimes for big rewards. I was going to say payoffs, but that would perhaps falsely imply a paycheck at the end of the day, which of course no one gets.
No one gets paid. This is amateur MMA. That is for the true love of the sport, and of course for the amenities on Fight Boat.
Oh, absolutely. As you mentioned, there is the nacho bar, or the nacho buffet tomorrow. If it's half as popular, a big knockdown from Wu.
This could be it. He just dropped Paranorman with a big hook, and he goes into survival mode. Definitely pulling him into a guard, but easy pass by Gordon Wu. Not see much on the ground from Wu, but he's a very strong competitor, and he's just ground and pounding his way through this, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. I was saying Norman's gonna have to do a much better job of clinching and holding Wu much tighter to his frame if he doesn't want to get pounded into a TKO, but
Have to hold on to him like he does to those many ghosts inside of his body, but it does not look good. It looks like the ghosts are trying to be punched out. And Gordon Wu just dominates on the, well, he drops him and then does the domination on the ground. It's 5 big points for assailant number 3.
yeah, that was... Paranorman didn't really have much going in any portion of that fight. He was on the back foot, he was on the defense pretty much the entire, from bell to bell. He's had quite a downfall these past couple of seasons, Derek.
Yeah, it's not been the best of form for Paranorman. You gotta wonder what might have changed. He just kind of has this sort of blank look. As you see, the answer, the question everyone was asked on Taylor tape was, would you like a frozen margarita? Which again would be just a plentiful thing, and maybe your favorite flavor or whatever. And he just said he stared blankly.
And I'm sure it's for an uncomfortable amount of time.
Yes. Yes, definitely. That went without saying, but I mean, that's kind of a Paranorman thing as well. That said, we have another big fight. We're going to hop over to Group B in just a moment. Donnie Bay takes on the Tumor of Justice. Well, it's fascinating, Lucille, because, well, at least very much on tonight's card, there are so many first-time fights, even among the two fighters that have been in this more than 1 year. But Donnie Bay versus the Tumor of Justice is actually one of the few, I think the only rematch that we're seeing tonight. The Tumor of Justice scored a very quick submission win. However, that was the very first fight of the very first Global MEGAFist 12. Let's see if these two have learned anything. They are practically different fighters at this point.
Oh, absolutely, Derek. I mean, the Tumor of Justice, he's been irradiated for so long. It's definitely changed him physically, mentally. Donnie Bay, he's now been on 2 different aquatic vessels, and over 2 years. But he hasn't had to rescue anyone from any sort of peril, so that's also... the stamina, I guess, could be said for the Tumor of Justice, self-proclaimed superhero.
We're fairly peril-free here on Fight Boat. I certainly hope that doesn't, cause restlessness among the... Among these two fighters. I mean, they're both very much known for their submissions. Donnie Bay is a bit more well-rounded. The Tumor of Justice has that arm bar that it just has taken so many opponents, and it's what I believe, if I recall, it's what defeated Donnie Bay in that very first fight. But you're absolutely right. You got to wonder if there's a little bit of restlessness. The Tumor of Justice, known for being a superhero, looking for just someone to save versus Donnie Bay, the lifeguard. Again, also looking for, he can enjoy the many pools here on Fight Boat while we're down one, because again, we kind of crashed into one and they just ended up building the, they ended up just building the gym where the one of the pools was, but he's got many other pools that he can go hang out at. They're well maintained. He doesn't need to. In fact, he has to be reminded constantly not to be a lifeguard. He's a guest here.
Absolutely, and there's pools filled with just a plethora of substances. There's the various money pools. There's the slime and sort of gel-based pools. There's
You're into that sort of weirdness.
Water.
People are strange. They do very strange things. But yeah, hey, we don't
Absolutely.
judge here in Fight Boat. That's your desires are welcome and encouraged. And catered to, yes. Encouraged as well, yeah.
Tumor looking for his armbar. I don't think he's got enough time, though.
Yeah, this is very close. We're getting to the end of the round. It's been very much just a back and forth battle, and they will see another round. Well, again, I think it's better for Donnie Bay. It's been a more even fight. He did just fall, I believe, in the first round. If I'm gonna just
swim that arm over
up real quickly.
Swim that arm over. Good. Okay. He's tired. His legs are tired.
Yes, it was a first round submission.
Now, on the ground, you can
where
catch
he
all
first
day
lost to
long
the
that
Tumor of
time.
Justice. So already he's doing better than he was before.
Absolutely. And
You just gotta
with him being a lifeguard, I've got to imagine his cardio is got to be on point. So maybe the long game better suits him. Of course, as we mentioned, that can be a negative impact in terms of accumulating points.
Yeah, maybe.
But if it takes a little bit longer to finish off a dangerous opponent like the Tumor of Justice, not leave your arm, dangling for the Tumor to snatch it up. Sometimes it might take a second or even a third round to get the job done.
Well, yeah, and again, a win is still a win. 3 points better than 0, which is what you get for losing. And he goes for the takedown immediately. This is fantastic. Really good to see from Donnie Bay. He's kind of always shown that just promise, but just hasn't done enough to really stand out from the rest of the field in this Global MEGAFist 12. A win over the Tumor of Justice, who again had a really rough year last year. Ended up having to win a survival fight. However, Tumor of Justice, if I recall, is a finalist from the first ever tournament.
Yeah, I believe
Fell
so.
short to Dale Branston, if I recall.
Yeah, he had quite a drop off from last year. Oh, but he gets that arm bar.
Well, that was, again, if it works, keep doing it. What a finish.
Yeah, a slight improvement for Donnie Bay to survive to the second round, but that improvement ends there as the Tumor of Justice gets yet another armbar victory. That is, I guess that's his, superhero specialty is that
Perhaps, yeah.
that armbar.
Wow, what a fantastic fight. A great fight again. Unfortunate for Donnie Bay, but the winner is the Tumor of Justice. He gets a massive victory. This will be another big, I believe it was 5 points in that case.
Absolutely, that's a pretty good start to the season if you're the Tumor of Justice.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, we are going to go ahead. We have another fight coming up in just a moment. Coming up next is we are just sort of 1 second here, please. We are coming up next. We have Ken Dahl versus Chet Lama. That is an upcoming fight in just a moment. But we're going to take a quick break and talk about the Hyper Fist, which is coming up in in the upcoming weeks. We're going to preview the Hyper Fist with the 16 fighters who are looking to be in the position of these 12 today. The Hyper Fist tournament kicks off in just a few episodes in the middleweight division with 2 8-man double elimination tournaments with spots in next year's Global MEGAFist 12 on the line. Here is the bracket for the first half of the Hyper Fist, and these are the matchups. Lucy Larch takes on Iggy Thunders. Kilgore Krang versus Patricio Avenal. Jay Pinion versus President Jerome Glorioso. And Thaddeus Rose takes on Erwin Hansen. On the other side of the Hyper Fist, these are the first round matchups. D.O. Terra Firma faces Grover Buffenberg. Wilhelm Schrei faces Slovan Matovic. Reginald Charles takes on Mason Quarry. And Blue Drummond takes on Dr. Clark Messick. The middleweight Hyper Fist has already provided us with a Global MEGAFist 12 champion. Does that same fate await one of these 16 competitors? Tail of the tape for this, our fourth fight of the night. Ken Dahl, Chet Lama, another first-time fight first time matchup between two fighters who are entering their third Global MEGAFist 12. Chet Lama has been a semi-finalist, I believe, in the last two. He's just fallen short both times. Ken Dahl looking to really have that breakout here. It should be, this is one of those important fights very early on, Lucille, where I think the winner is going to get a big victory under their belt early on.
Absolutely. You know, as we said, Chet Lama kind of has a tradition of starting slow and finishing the season strong.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can maintain a high level of consistent performance and not have to, you know, scramble in his last 2 or 3 fights to get quick finishes to accumulate enough points to make the playoffs, but we'll see how the extravagance of Fight Boat distracts either man. Really, Chet Lama probably not too concerned with it, but
Yeah,
you never know.
that's a good
From
point.
going to his Alabama hilltop to to Fight Boat is got to be a huge culture shock for the hillbilly mystic.
No doubt about that. That's a very interesting point. How each of these two are taking to Fight Boat could be a problem, but in very different ways. For Chet Lama, it could just be a sensory overload that becomes an obstacle that he has to just overcome. Should it be an issue for Ken Dahl? Of course, the surgically altered. He fell in love with that girl who got the surgery to look like a Barbie. I am fairly certain there is probably one of those types of surgically enhanced people on this ship. So again, that could be a very different type of distraction for him.
Absolutely, and I think that person wasn't enhanced in such a way before Ken Dahl got on the ship, but might have been encouraged to provide that should Mr. Dahl request it. But I can either confirm or deny
you know
that.
What? It's one of those things. We don't question your preferences. We don't question your pleasures. We don't question what you're into here on Fight Boat. We just know that Mr. Naga and his most glorious staff tend to make it's like Disneyland where they make dreams come true. That seems to be what it is on Fight Boat. I'm a simple person. I don't have any sort of strange demands like that, but what I do know is that on Fight Boat, I'm just not on the Atzapaddle, and that is good enough for me.
All right. Go to the body and press him back.
100%, Derek.
And maybe one day that won't get old, but I still wake up. I wake up in my beautiful, beautiful cabin, and I kind of laugh to myself as many breakfast options are brought to me. Not by my request. They just show up.
Yeah. I weep with joy most mornings when I wake up, and I know that I'm not,
Gentlemen,
and
ready?
probably never will be on the Atzapaddle ever again.
Let's fight.
What we're in right now is, oh my goodness, well, right off the bat, round 2. Big shots
Goodness.
from Ken Dahl, and he dives right in. Oh, he dives right into a triangle. What a counter by Lama.
Oh my God, those cobwebs cleared up quick.
And a big slam by Dahl. So again, this is right back and forth over and over. This is incredible. After an even first round, they have come out swinging. I'm pounding on the table in excitement here. And again, Dahl has avoided now 2 triangle attempts. He's got to this might be best to just stand up and bring Chet Lama back to his feet, but he just lands a good strike, and he is pounding away. Plenty of time.
That's it.
And the referee has said enough.
Wow.
Well, what an exciting second round this has been. My goodness.
Yeah, I mean, that big knee to start things off, and, I thought, Ken Dahl was, he was dominating, and then he dove directly into a triangle, and then he got out and he got back into a triangle, and that was an incredible sequence of events. Good, solid win for Ken Dahl. That's 5 points that are not easily given. Those were hard work earned.
They most certainly were. And Ken Dahl gets 5 massive points. What a start to this Global MEGAFist 12 for Ken Dahl. It is that is one of the tougher opponents, and he's got that one right in the bag already. We've got 2 more fights already. These are going so lightning quick. Coming up next, newcomer Vincenzo Vinny the Goose Thompson takes on last year's finalist Leon Pagliacci. Most interesting pairings is this battle. Our co-main event, our co-feature, Pagliacci, last year's finalist, fell via submission. His only loss of the year was to Ed Picayune, a loss that Picayune avenged. Vincenzo Vinny the Goose, seen in the Hyperfist, and won all 3 fights. Via submission, by the way, as well. So this should be a very interesting fight. Newcomer Thompson, not necessarily a newcomer from what we saw last year.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Pagliacci, just an improbable run last year. As you said, Derek, fell just short in the last possible, moments. And, I'm sure he wants to get back to those finals. Thompson, submission guys, they seem to do pretty good in Global MEGAFist. If anyone's got a slight knowledge of grappling, they can dominate some of the lesser versed people. But Pagliacci, he's got some good submissions of his own, so this should be a pretty evenly matched contest.
Yeah, Pagliacci, again, more well-rounded in how he's won. Again, Thompson, from the small sample size, he won all 3. He made it an automatic. He was an automatic qualifier through the Hyperfist. Again, you win those 3 fights, you don't suffer a single loss, and you win the winner's bracket of that tournament. You are automatically in. You don't have to worry about a survival fight or anything. He throws up a triangle. So again, going right to the well of what he knows best, Pagliacci. Again, when there's nothing left to do on the Atsa paddle, and you probably get a chance to check out things like that. So Pagliacci didn't seem too concerned, didn't seem too surprised. But again, no surprise to either of us. This fight goes immediately to the ground.
Yeah, and I will make mention of one thing. It seems, that as we were talking about in the Chet Lama Ken Dahl fight, that distractions of what's going on Fight Boat can be, perhaps hampering some of these fighters. And Aaron Norman, Chet Lama, they both seemed perhaps confused or, unprepared for the question of a frozen margarita, and they lost. And Vincenzo Thompson, rather, he also did not respond. So could it be that he's
I was as the person who was sent to charge with those answers, it was less confusion and more just an unwillingness to talk or give information. We kind of know a little bit about. It almost makes me feel a little guilty to be saying we were talking to someone who is
fine, guys.
Under a bit of protection due to previous ties that may not be ties anymore. What the hell? He's on Fight Boat. No one's finding us out here. He's got some former mob ties. You can imagine Thompson, not his last name. He's in a bit of a witness protection. Not sure why he still decided to go with Vinny the Goose, but yeah, he's tough to get information out of, and probably for a good reason. But again, didn't see. Again, when the answer is just, would you like a frozen margarita, and if so, what flavor? You'd think someone would answer that.
Yeah, an unwillingness to engage is, I guess, again, not to pass judgment on anyone, but it's a little concerning to not be open enough to say, yes, I would, and please make mine strawberry kiwi.
Yeah, I was actually, it's funny you mentioned that. I was going to go with the, there was the strawberry lime, I think they had a cherry lime one as well. I was going to go with the strawberry lime combo of my own a bit later, but again, not once we're not, again, we're here almost every week, so, plenty of time to relax and take in the activities on Fight Boat, so that'll be plenty of time to sit by a pool of my choice. I think I'll go with a more standard pool. I don't need to be... I don't... watching the people swim around in, like, the gelatin slime sort of stuff, it's fun for a little bit, but it gets kind of creepy when people get a little too into it.
Yeah, and also the sound as people kind of, their arms and legs break the surface and go back down. It can be a little disconcerting after a while.
It kind of loses your taste for, like, let me tell you right now, I've lost my taste for Jell-O after last year and that buffet. And while of course there is Jell-O on the buffets, I still have not touched the stuff. It's kind of just not. I've just recently gotten to putting jam or jelly on my toast in the morning again, and that took a couple of months to get over. That being said, I think I'll be hanging out by a normal pool, maybe one of the themed pools they have. If we're doing a nacho bar and margaritas, perhaps that'll be the sort of the Mexican beach themed pool, or something that kind of seems like it's more like a tropical sort of environment. I don't know. We'll see. Again, there's just so much of this boat that I still haven't been able to even check out.
So many options. I mean, I've been going to the swimming in the pool with the baby otters. That's a lot of fun.
I haven't found those yet.
Oh, it's I think it's 6th deck. It's hard to lose. It's easy to lose track of which deck you're on. But yeah, after a couple of free frozen margarita fountains, probably not my first choice to hang out with a bunch of frolicking otters. I might want something a little more relaxed. So
yeah, I don't trust myself under the just the potential of having a couple alcoholic beverages. I don't know if I want to be encountering wildlife in that state, and that's more just a responsibility for me and for the otters. But wow, I was actually wondering when we got through the fight, when I got into my cabin,
you swim that arm over
and saw that there was basically a phone book. Like I was wondering, I haven't seen a phone book in years because again, it's 2021 as far as I'm concerned and aware. But that is literally a guide to everything on Fight Boat, and I am amazed that someone went through the time to create that and craft that, because again, it seems like it's always changing. But it also is there. It just tells you how much, and I've kept trying to go for walks on Fight Boat, around Fight Boat, to just explore so much more, and I feel like there's so much of it I still have yet to see.
You don't get the takedown.
Here's the thing, Derek.
You're looking perfect.
There is a new one of those every day, because a couple weeks ago I had kind of dog-eared a few pages to remind myself to check it out, and the next morning there was a brand new, fresh copy, and completely different layout, completely different pages. So yeah, they make I would say that was probably a 500-page tome of everything on Fight Boat. Basically fresh each day.
I don't even know what to say about that, but that's just incredible. And what a great place Fight Boat is. I mean, my God, how do you not enjoy the time that we are spending here on Fight Boat?
We got the Nacho Fiesta coming up. We've got we had the seafood and shrimps buffet last week.
Fantastic.
Again, not to judge, but did you see the cinnamon coated shrimps? People were going nuts for them.
Really? That's
tails all over the tables.
There it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I mean, they if all that was left were the tails, then that means that they must have been delicious. I didn't see them. I stuck. Coconut is about as sweet of a shrimp. Wow, that's outstanding.
Yeah.
I'm very excited to see that. But
I saw one guy putting them in a big bowl with some milk and just eating it like cinnamon coated shrimp cereal. Again,
sure, why not?
I should have tried it, but I was too afraid. So hopefully next shrimp feast, I'll gather up the courage to attempt.
Well, they do talk about Fight Boat being a place to try new things at whatever your comfort level is, and perhaps that's just something that eventually you will get to experience. I think that's a good kind of goal to have in the future.
Yeah, I try something new every day, and that's easy on Fight Boat because I think everything is new every day on Fight Boat.
It might as well be, yeah. Again, the fact that I'm getting I really would like to maybe get, if I start dog-earing some pages, maybe I could say, hey, can I keep the old one? But I think they're taking it. But like I'd like to at least know how to dog-ear the same pages again. But at least maybe it tells me to. I need to get like a notepad and write down.
Stop. Fight's over. Fight's over, guys.
Explore here, but we've been talking about Fight Boat, but this fight is again the namesake of Fight Boat is the fights, and don't get me wrong, there are so many of those on board as well. This is just one of many bits of fighting entertainment that you can just watch from your own cabin on the closed circuit televisions. So there are people watching back from their cabins. Hello, hopefully we'll see you at some point. I know it's a big boat, but maybe we'll run into you at some point. We will go to a decision, a rare decision, our first of the night. Very back and forth ground battle between these two. And 3 points will be on the line for the winner. It's hard to say, Lucille. I'm not entirely certain who gets it.
Yeah, Vincenzo had a lot of submission attempts, but how much do you judge that? Something that ultimately didn't finish the fight.
Yeah. It could just be being active at this point, and that seems to be what it is. A big debuting win for Vincenzo Thompson, unable to get the finish, but takes a massive 3 points, and figuratively, he takes a huge scalp in his group. That is a massive, massive victory for Vinny the Goose.
100%, Derek. That is, last year's finalist that he outlasted.
Wow. Well, we have our main event coming up in just a moment. A big rematch from last year. One of the surprise results. 3 Ezekiel Subset Alpha and Dale Branston. wait for our main event. Ezekiel Subset Alpha does give up a good amount of height and reach. It did not, however, matter the last time these two did battle, as Branston fell to Alpha.
You ready? Are you ready?
Via submission. If I recall, it was a first round submission. It was early on in the tournament, and it was the surprise, in a way, the kind of the coming out party for Ezekiel Subset Alpha. Yes, it was a first round submission of Dale Branston, and you got to imagine Branston is looking to get back to his championship winning ways of 2019. It was not a good year last year for Branston.
Absolutely, Derek. I mean, Branston really struggled being away from his, home pickling station, his home brines, his own, seasoning blends, his own, cucumbers. 3Ezekiel, we're not sure where he or when he is from. He has alluded to being a future man.
He says he's from the future. So yeah, he said even like that's even what it said, like what he's wearing. He's wearing the future. I don't even know what that means, but I will say one thing about that. He was pretty dire in the things that he was saying in his Tale of the Tape answers last year. I'm a little bit more okay with him just spoiling the fact that the margaritas will be delicious. I don't know if you noticed that. We asked him if he wanted one or what his flavor choice would be, and he just said they're delicious, which, I probably would have guessed that, but that's a more pleasant spoiler alert, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of an assumption that the margaritas on Fight Butt would be delicious, have been and will always be delicious, I guess.
Yeah. Safe assumption.
Yeah, I have learned quickly I learned quickly in the 2020 season, just try not to talk too long to 3Ezekiel Subset Alpha, because inevitably the conversation will drift to a subject that he drops some kernel of weird future prediction, and thinking about it too much just makes you way too sad.
Yeah, and look, let's be incredibly clear here. We are not sure. We don't know for a fact. I don't know, but I don't want to. The possibility of it is just enough of a harrowing thought. And the clock was Dale Branston's friend right at the end of that round, an armbar that looked deep, and Branston has survived a round, and he's looking a bit frustrated. He's looking a bit I don't want to say relieved necessarily. He's definitely kind of have to change some of his strategy. Use that height, use that reach advantage he has over 3Ezekiel Subset Alpha. Because again, 3Ezekiel went 4-0 and then lost 2 fights in a row. He lost his last fight, a surprise loss via submission to Chet Lama, and then was submitted in the semifinals by Ed Picayune. So he is coming off of a 2-fight losing streak.
5 minutes to hell,
after
tighten your
winning
punches
4
up. The uppercut is there all day, but you got it.
Fighters, are you ready? Are you ready?
That's giving me personally some solace that he may not be, or at least not a perfect future man in knowing all things from the future. If he couldn't avoid Lama and Picayune submissions.
Well, we're still not without our flaws, even in the future, I suppose.
True.
I have to be curious. I don't want to ask because it will just involve talking to him for potentially a greater length than I would like to. I know Dale Branston he has been spending time in one of the various kitchens. He has been just even whether they're being used or not, and I'm sure they are, because again, if he's as good as he says he is, then why wouldn't they? But he seems more back in his own element. He's able to do his Fight Boat will grant your most banal or your wildest desires in a consensual way. Trying to find a way to say it without it being just creepy and gross. And a big knee. Well, again, Neither creepy nor gross, but painful. A knee. I think Ezekiel was going for a shoot in there and met a very high knee from the taller Dale Branston, and it dropped him. But here's Branston right back into the ground game with the submission master.
Yeah, Branston, he does love his ground and pound. Of course, with Ezekiel, there is the risk of him throwing up submissions from the bottom, but not too many available if your opponent's fully mounted you. But Ezekiel quick to, well, at times he's quick to regain, some semblance of a guard. But I think that, as you're saying, Derek, Ezekiel was starting to reach for a takedown attempt, and Branson at 6'5" just kind of flicked a knee up there, and I think he caught Ezekiel basically on the temple and just took his legs out from under him, equilibrium gone.
Yeah, that would have easily been in a striking sport or something where you have to answer a count of 10. That would have easily been a referee stoppage for the way he fell. That's rough, but he again just kind of regained his composure, threw up the legs, got the guard ready, and again the same methods that have made Ezekiel Subset Alpha so successful in the Global Mega Fist so far. Take us to a third round. Well, this is interesting territory. Not used to seeing the long game for Ezekiel Subset Alpha, but here we are. He is going into a third round with a man who, again, we remember this from his successful run in the in the first year of Global Mega Fist. Dale Branston, we almost kind of gave him that dubious honor of being the decision king. A lot of his fights went to a decision. So he knows how to last and how to like a good brine. He definitely knows how to make it last and simmer and marinate in the fight.
Quick thing when you
he is not the quick pickle king. He is just the regular pickle king. Not to stretch too far the boat metaphor, but he is definitely the person more adept at the deeper waters, as they like to say, in the fight game.
Again, much more, right back to the takedown for Ezekiel.
Yeah, I was going to say Ezekiel with a not so much a rushed takedown attempt, but he definitely made sure to time it right to get Branson on his back.
Yeah, I'm going off of memory in this case. I believe the only decision Ezekiel Subset Alpha has gone to was a loss to Ed Picayune in the Hyperfist 2 years ago. Ultimately, he did qualify through the second chance bracket, but not a man that knows much about finishing a fight, and he tried to go for that armbar again, but Branston is just so powerful, so strong. Just his natural size advantage that he has is just doing wonders, and lands a big rear hook. And Ezekiel the way he fell did not look good. And I think the referee saw it too and calls the end of it.
Ow!
What a finish.
It's so strange for the 2019 champion to get a win, to at least to me, to be considered the upset finish. But Ezekiel last year was so dominant, as you said, until he kind of hit that rough patch at the very end of the season. But Branston, just big ground and pound. He easily could be a heavyweight, but the way he manages to suck the moisture out of his own body to get down to 185 is nothing short of incredible.
It really is incredible. But again, the man is just so dominant, and we could be looking for yet another big year out of Dale Branston. I'm just kind of looking to see how he performed in the last two. Yeah, that is a third straight win. He started the tournament last year losing his first 3 fights, and came back and finished 2-3, a disappointing 2-3 from what we know about Dale Branston. That is a disappointing 2-3, but the man has now taken it and gone into just gone right into a fantastic a fantastic streak. But yeah, that is something that's going to be very interesting. Well, that is our card for the night. Let's recap the results. Lucille, we started things off with a lightning-fast submission victory for Ed Picayune, followed up with TKO victories in the second round for Gordon Wu and Ken Dahl. Any of those results particularly sticking out to you?
I mean, Picayune with another, quick win, 6 points. That's always good to start the season off with. Chet Lama, I was hoping maybe he would maintain some of his momentum from the end of last year, but he falls to 0-1. But again, he's used to kind of being at the bottom and crawling and clawing his way into the playoffs. But looking at next episode, Wu versus Lama, I think is one to look out for, especially to see if Lama can get back to his winning ways. Cheadle and Dahl, I mean, Cheadle he was thrown to the wolves.
We know there's more out of Robbie Cheadle than what we saw tonight. That was just an unfortunate first draw, and I think anyone would have easily had a hard time with Ed Picayune. He just got caught, but that is a man who has some good striking power if he's able to show it. Ken Dahl is in for a challenge, and of course Ed Picayune faces Paranorman, which could be just another opportunity for Picayune to pick apart an opponent and take some early points in the bank.
I won't 100% count out anyone in Global MEGAFist. Anyone can win any fight, but I will say this for Paranorman, I guess it's good that he's facing Picayune, who is a submission expert, and hopefully won't take much physical, damage, just maybe get submitted rather quickly.
Yeah, well, they do have about a month to a month and a half. It's not until May at a date to be determined, but they do have some time to recover. But again, Paranorman took some serious damage today. Meanwhile, in Group B, bit of a slower roast at this point. We had Branston's TKO victory. Vinny the Goose Thompson taking the decision over Leon Pagliacci, the Tumor of Justice, with the second round submission victory. And that's how it looks in the standings. A little bit closer at the top. The Tumor of Justice with the 5 points, Branston with 4, Thompson with 3, and we've got Tumor versus Pagliacci, 3. Ezekiel versus Thompson should be very interesting, and Bay versus Branston. Well, a chance for our top 3 to go 2-0, and that's going to be a very interesting thing to see how all of that shakes out when we get to that. Are any of those matchups really just kind of screaming out to you or making you look really hard at that matchup?
Probably 3 Ezekiel subset alpha versus Vincenzo Thompson. Vincenzo, he's a submission guy. 3 Ezekiel, he's a submission guy. Vincenzo couldn't get the finish against Leon Pagliacci. 3 Ezekiel, he's pretty much only been bested by, grapplers. Of course, Branson did get a TKO win tonight. Yeah. But,
long game,
Ed Picayune and Chet Lama are the other 2 people, and those were submission victories, or submission losses for 3 Ezekiel, to phrase it another way. But, that could be a grappling, match for the ages. Those 2 men going at it, trying to find, the one mistake that the other man makes to lock in a submission. But, it seems that Group A definitely took the lion's share of the points compared to Group B.
Make for a very interesting Global Mega Fists as it starts to shake out. It's one of those things you can neither win nor lose it in that first day. It's a lot of times they say you can't win it on the first day, but you can lose something in the first day. That's not the case with Global Mega Fist 12. There are 4 more opportunities. You are still very much in the running as far as anyone is concerned after one fight. It's just how do you react after that. The interesting thing about 3 Ezekiel, and we'll talk about this when his fight comes up, but how does a man from the future act when there's in desperation? If he already knows if he potentially knows what's going to happen, does he act in any sort of desperation way? Or does he already kind of have an idea of what is happening?
Is he resigned to his future fate? That's a great question, Derek. Well,
wow, we are getting paradox up the yin yang here, and that might be a discussion for another time, or a discussion over some frozen margaritas tomorrow. That's how I'm seeing that.
Sounds delightful.
And then you can show me that otter pool. I'd love to swim with some otters when I'm not having a couple of beverages. That being said, we will be back on April 6th. That is 2 weeks from tonight. We're taking next week off. I'm sure there will be plenty of beautiful, wonderful amenities and activities to keep us busy in the next 2 weeks. But our lightweight division debuts here on Fight Boat for the first time. Walter Birch, Trevor Sereno, Miroslav Florislava taking on newcomer Harvey Murkoff. Deputy Snooter Magnum taking on another Hyperfist newcomer, Preston Groom. And on the other side, LD Albertson, another newcomer, taking on Charlie Valentine. JC Switcher faces another newcomer, Chip Crocker. We got 4 brand new fighters from the Hyperfist coming through, just like in the heavyweights. And Zeke Apnea versus Rob Lynn. Those are going to be some great fights. We can't wait to show them when they come up. But Lucille, I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go head back to my room, check out one of the other closed circuit fights that are on get a good night's sleep, and I'm going to be at Sunrise for that nacho bar tomorrow, I think.
That sounds like a fantastic plan, Derek. I will see you there.
Yeah, nacho bar will be, that'll be the meeting point. If any of you are also on Fight Boat, we'll be at the nacho bar. I'll be there at Sunrise. Cannot wait. Going to get my full, get my money's worth, but yeah, money. Anyway, thank you for joining us here on the Global MEGAFist 12. Fight Boat is real and it is spectacular. We'll see you again in 2 weeks' time, right here on Fight Boat.